Can you feel this passion? It's amazing. Hail, hail, hail to the Redskins. Crowds roar, horns blow, see the fire blazing. Hail, hail, hail to...
What is going on, internet? This is JD coming to another video from Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. This is a video I'm going to do. It basically discusses how the salary cap can be worked and fixed, or whatever the case may be with the Redskins. So I just finished filming it, so I'll go ahead and explain a little bit of it. I did a little bit of cap playing. It's called a website called Over the Cap. What it does is it lets you just kind of fiddle with the cap, like cut players, trade players, whatever, add players from that you're going to re-sign a free agency or franchise tag. So it lets you do all those things. So before I get started, I just want to explain a couple things with the Redskins, and this is what this video is going to be about. It's going to be about what the Redskins to do with their own team, with their own players they have in building or that are, technically still on the roster until a certain time, like this year, like this spring, when they're officially a free agent, and like how they can respond to it, how they can handle it, what they can do. They can cut players, they can sign players, they can trade players, whatever the case may be. So that being said, here's the part of the video where I'm going to real quickly talk about just the salary cap position that they have. Right now, the Redskins, the adjusted salary cap for next season is $211,923,089. That's the whole amount. So almost $212 million if you want to round up a little bit. So $212 million is what their estimated the salary cap is. The Redskins' active contract is $172 million, which is actually different than the other thing it said. It said it was $167 million, but whatever. So they're running about $46 million in salary cap. Okay. So the Redskins have $46 million in salary cap. It says estimated cap space after 51 people. That might be why. It might have to be 51 people. So I'm going to jump over to the other part of the video where I actually go through the cap space. How about it? Enjoy.
All right. So right now I have this salary cap calculator. And Redskins are at $44 million in the salary cap with total liabilities this year being $167 million. I'm going to try to get that up to around 80, 85, maybe 90 million. So let's see what we can do. And so we can do sum up, we can cut guys, we can do all these things. Cut, trade, restructure, extend. So Alex Smith, he's no longer a franchise quarterback. We're going forward with Dwayne Haskins. So we're going to trade him. And the rumor has it we can trade him to the Bears. The Bears are looking to get him to be their stopgap quarterback for the next few years until his contract runs up, I guess, because Mitch Trubisky is not the answer for them. I could have told them that, but they don't pay me to do anything, so I didn't tell them. So that's what we can do with Alex Smith. Trade him. Josh Norman, cut. He's done. He's not good enough to do it anymore. He can't do it. So those two right there got us up to $61 million. I think Josh Norman, for some reason, I think that's inaccurate. I've heard we can get a lot more by cutting Josh Norman right now because his contract was supposed to be front-loaded. Trent Williams, let's just say we trade Trent Williams. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're getting more than $2 million out of him too, but I'm going to digress. And then Collins, not going to mess with his contract. I am going to restructure. However, I'm going to restructure. 1, 2, 3. Roster bonus. Restructure Ryan Kerrigan's contract, so he gets $5 million or $6.5 million next year, with a $1 million signing bonus. Okay. So that's the route I would go with Ryan Kerrigan. I don't want to cut him. We just went to a 4-3. I think having him on the team in a 4-3 and having him on the line, this is when he would actually be at his best. Jordan Reed, flat out just cut the guy. I think the best plan is to cut Jordan Reed. He's not gonna. I mean, we could trade him. That'd be great. But if we cut him, oh jeez. I think this is inaccurate. I've heard that if we cut Jordan Reed, that we're saving ourselves about $6 or $7 million. I'm not gonna. Maybe that's what we're paying. Never mind. That might be what we're paying. So that might be more accurate. That may be what we're paying if we cut him, and we're saving. Yeah, so we're up to 81 million. I would also say cut Morgan Moses. That's just me. So I'll add that in there because I want Morgan Moses gone. I will say I don't think cutting Paul Richardson is the best plan, and not because it's a bad idea, Paul Richardson, but the problem with cutting him is if we cut him, we don't really gain a lot. Like if we cut him, we end up spending $6 million just to cut him. And so for another $2 million, we still have a receiver on our team that, when healthy, is a burner. He's fast and he can blow the top off a defense. And I think we should just at least keep on to him for one more year. Next year we can get rid of him, but I think he can really help the offense right now. So that's what I believe the Redskins will do. And I would franchise tag Brandon Sheriff. If that's really his number, $16 million. I would do it just for this season. We have the money this year. It's not like it's a big deal. And I would sign what's his face, Eric Flowers, to a 3-year extension worth let's say he gets paid $5 million per year. 2, 3. I'm not really worried about like guaranteed money. I'll guarantee all of his money the first 2 years. I'll guarantee $5 million his first year. Let me rephrase that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the second year, I'll guarantee $2.5 million. 1, 2, 3. Am I missing a 0? Yeah, I'm missing a 0 on that, yeah. Okay. And then last year will also be $5 million. This is really a rough guesstimate of what he can make. I'm just being honest. He'll probably make more than that. There's roster bonus things, but I'm not going to go off of that right now. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So extend, and Jordan, and then we have Eric Flowers. We have him retained, and we still save about $65 million, 64. I'm pretty sure there'll be bonuses in there for what's his name, and no one else on this roster I really want to keep. There's a tight end somewhere that I want to keep, and I can never think of his. I don't know, maybe Hester. I have no idea. But let me see if there's another tight end on here I know we want to keep. Jeremy Sprinkle. Let's make sure, and we have a tight end that was like, maybe it's Hinges. His number was 88. I don't know what that is, or who it is. But, okay. So that's my projections for what we should do with our salary cap. Trade Reed, trade Smith, trade Williams, cut Norman, cut Reed, cut Morgan Moses, re-sign Eric Flowers, re-sign Brandon Sheriff. We'll take care of the other positions in free agency because we have $65 million to work with. We can also, honestly, $16 million for Brandon Sheriff. That's kind of expensive. I didn't think it was that much in free agency or franchise tag. I thought it was closer to 12. So I'm kind of weary on doing that. But if it's for 1 year, it's not a big deal. He's just not. He's too injury prone to commit to him long term. That's my problem with it. So yeah, that's it. And so we're gonna jump on over to the free agency talk. So here you go.
Okay, so you just saw the part of the video where I went over the cap space and how the situation with the cap can be adjusted so we can literally be walking into free agency with about $60 million, or if we didn't want to re-sign anyone, about $80-some million. And if you cut players that I didn't exactly cut or trade, you could easily add some more money. So I want to go over free agency, what we need. The Redskins need 4 things specifically. You could probably add depth to other positions if you wanted to, but specifically 4 things need to be gotten by the Redskins. You need to get tight end. We need to get tight end. So if we want to sign one, we need to get 2 tight ends technically. Jordan Reed's done. Vernon Davis is done, at least in the Washington Redskins uniform. So they need to move on from those guys. So there's a handful of guys that we can get. So that's one position. And we can probably get on good deals too, but that's one position we need to fill. Second position we need to fill is the cornerback position. There's options we have at corner. We have some corners on our team, but we're going to get rid of Josh Norman. We might get rid of some others, and we need to fill that position, and we need to fill it with talent, not just fill it with like guys like not like stopgap guys, but guys that have talent. Okay, so that's 2 years. That's two. I would say the next position would be left tackle for sure, but I think we're going to get that in the draft. But I'll go over left tackle just the same, just like I am with everything else. And then, I'll throw left guard in there too, and there's a reason for that. And then free safety, I think, is the other position, which we could probably get a safety if we needed to. But we're not going to get everything we want in the draft. So the free agency's got it. They got to have a plan for the draft. And I'll go over my draft plan at the very end of this. And I'll give you my opinion on the draft and what we need to do in the draft at the very end of this. But as of right now, those are the 4 things the Redskins need, adding in left guard if you want to throw that in there. So that's what I'm looking at on this way. I'm looking this way on the computer for that reason. I'm looking over what we have. So let's start with tight end. It's not the number 1 need. I'm just going off. That's the first one I came up with. So just tell you my philosophy when it comes to free agency. I look at free agency like we're trying to get things that can happen for a couple years. I look for players that are, one, young. Okay, if you're gonna get an old player, get them on a 2-year deal or a 1-year deal, so we don't have to deal with them for a long time. But I like getting younger players that you can get longer contracts. Front load them because you already have the money now. Make them cheaper. That way, if they start deteriorating over time, you can cut them. That's my personal philosophy when it comes to contract. I hate cheap contracts early and expensive contracts late. Okay, because if you have a player that's on a 5-year deal and the first couple years not making a lot of money, when they're at their best, when they're younger, in their prime, at the end of the contract, you're paying them a lot of money to be out of their prime, and they're not going to be as effective. They're not going to be as good. So that's why my philosophy is you want to go with guys that are cheap, that are young, and they're in their prime, and you can pay them. And for most of their prime, they're going to make money, and they're going to make money, and they're going to earn their money, and they're going to work hard for that money. You don't want to guarantee money late, guarantee a lot of money early, so that they and then later they'll fight to try to maintain more money. That's my personal philosophy. So when I look for guys in free agency, I look for guys that are not old. Guys in their 30s, there's guys I avoid. Okay. There's some positions you can take a kind of liberties that with. Quarterback is one. If they're 30, that's not a bad thing for quarterbacks. But for other positions, that is bad. A 36-year-old tight end is not a tight end that I'm looking to really put on my team, especially for an extended period of time. You'd be a stopgap for a year. And if you need to do that, that's fine. But if we have the money, we need to be spending the money. We need to be spending the money on guys that we know are going to help. So the first position, like I said, is tight end. So the first tight end on my radar is Hunter Henry. Now, there's some upsides, there's some downsides of Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry is very good. He played 12 games, had 620 passing yards or receiving yards. 652 receiving yards, 55 receptions, and then 5 touchdowns, 1 fumble. But the Chargers weren't very productive this year. And there's one downside to him. He does get injured a little bit. So I'm looking at his statistics, see how injury prone he is. The last 3 seasons he's played 12, 14, and 15. I'll take that over what Jordan Reed's got us any day. So market value on him is $9 million annually or yearly. So 4 years, $9 million. Yeah. So right now I'm pulling up my trusty calculator here. Not calculator. I'm sorry. Yeah, calculator. That's what I want. Calculator. So if we're starting at, let's just say we're starting at $65 million. Okay. And we subtract out $9 million. Now we have $56 million, and we've fixed our tight end problem. However, there's another tight end I do think would be a pretty decent option. Okay. He's projected to make about, like I said, he's projected to make about $9 million. He ain't a top 5 tight end by any stretch of the imagination. So he should be making top 5 tight end money, but he's not Kels, he's not Kittle, he's not Ertz. He's a good enough tight end that he's going to get a decent contract. He's just not going to get $12 million a year contract or anything, or $9 million. He might get $9 million. That'd be the top end of what he gets. And there's one other tight end I want to go out there, and I think would actually be a lot better for us. He had a breakout season last year, And I think that the Washington Redskins would be stupid not to pursue him, considering he is also a young tight end. They're both 25 years old. So that falls into my realm of what I like when it comes to tight ends. Young, they're both athletic, they can both catch, and they can both... I know Austin Hooper can block. I don't know about Hunter Henry's ability to block, but I know they can catch. So, Austin Hooper is the other player I would like to see in a Washington Redskins uniform as a tight end. He had a good year last year. He played... he had 13 games, 16, 16, 14. And then, let's see here. Last year, he had almost 800 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns. And he was a big part of the red zone production out of the Atlanta Falcons. And his market value right now is, I don't think he's going to make anywhere near $10 million a year. I think that might be the top end. That may be top end of what he might make. But if you get him on a 4-year contract, I'd say still $9 million is a sweet spot for a good tight end. One good tight end, and we draft another one. That's my personal opinion on it. We have decent tight end depth right now. We have Jeremy Sprinkle. We have I can't think of the kid's name. 88. I cannot think of his name. I know his number because he's a good receiving tight end. But we don't have a lot of tight ends that aren't doing anything beyond receiving, or that we just don't have a lot of good tight ends right now. 2 of them are gone because they're injury prone. So that's just 2 options I would give us, the Washington Redskins, at that position to fill it with free agency. Okay, I mean maybe both, but I don't want to spend that much. So let's say we spend $9 million on that position. So that puts us down to $56 million. Now, free safety. Free safety, there's not a lot of options early. But Ronald Darby is a free agent, unrestricted free agent from the Philadelphia Eagles. So he's not a bad option. Eli Apple isn't a bad option. And there's Darley Worley. I don't know the market value on these players. I'm using the website; it's not showing me. So market value, I mean, if we're looking for a starting cornerback, I'd say that might cost us like $10 million a year, depending on the player. Now, if we go further down the list, there's some guys that weren't making as much last year. Based on stats, though, like let's look at stats real quick. Darby. 37 tackles, 2 interceptions. I would honestly, if I had my pick, I'll go with Eli Apple or Darryl Woodley or Worley or whatever. But Darby does know a lot of the ins and outs of what the Eagles do defensively, so that would be very helpful to us. But there's definitely options out there. I don't know market value, so I'm going to have to guesstimate a market value. Let me click on a player. Maybe it'll tell me market value for the guy. So let me click on Eli Apple. I'll click on Darby, and I'll click on Darryl Worley. Okay, let's see if his statistics. Nope, it won't show me market value for him. So, I mean, it just really depends on what they want to pay him. I think he might, says he's unrestricted free agent, but they can take his 5th-year option. I think that's what the thing is. They might not take his 5th-year option. So, I don't know. I'd say $10 million maybe on him. That'd be the best bet. Okay. And okay. So, let's just say we spend $10 million on a corner. Minus $10 million. Now down to $46 million. And now we're back to this. Let's check out guard. And here's why I say guard. Now, I've already solved the guard problem in my opinion. But we may go the route and not go guard. So let's just see what else is available. If we don't go the route, I want guards. If you didn't see the other part of the video, if you don't remember, Brandon Sheriff, I say, gets franchise tagged. His market value per year is $12 million. I think I franchise tagged him for like $11 million. It's a wash. The problem I have with Brandon Sheriff, he's very injury prone. So I don't want to give him a long-term contract till he proves that he can, stay on the field for a year. And if I can get someone else for a cheaper value, and that's actually younger, why not? The one route I would go, and Eric Flowers played great for us last year, so I think he deserves a contract extension. I'd say give him, go as high. I think he can go as high as 8. Go as high as 8, but I think you can give him $5 million, $1 million a year, and then have 2 incentive bonuses for, workouts and stuff. But I would go with Andres Pete from the New Orleans Saints is a good option that I would go with. He's 26 years old. He had a good year last year, and he's the youngest one. I mean, everyone else is like 27, 20. So if you want to get someone that's like a stopgap for a year, you could do that if you wanted to go that route. But my opinion of it is I just want to go with a guy that I know is going to be available. He's going to be able to play. He's affordable, and he's young. So if you can put him on a long deal and give him a lot of money early, we have the money this year to give people money now. And we can have it so it diminishes over time so we have more money in the future. That's what I personally like. And the last few years, he made $9 million last year. I think it might be part of his rookie contract. So yeah, okay. And I'd pay him about, I'd pay him about $9 or $10 million. He's younger than Brandon Sheriff. He's played more games than Brandon Sheriff. I mean, he's been healthier more than Brandon Sheriff. Yeah. So I would be okay with that. I have no issue with that. It just really depends on your preference. Like I said, I like younger guys, but I would not mind giving Brandon Sheriff one more year to prove himself. Honestly, if I had my way, I'd franchise tag him for one more year. If he gets injured, doesn't matter. I'm not going to sign him next year because next year is 29 years old and he's below value. He is not worth the money someone's going to pay him to be a 29-year-old starting guard in the NFL. I'd rather put my chances on a 26-year-old Andres Pete or go with a 27-year-old Evan Boehm, who I can sign to a 4-year deal, and he'll be done by the time he's 31. Whereas with Brandon Sheriff, you're going to have to sign him next year after you franchise tag him, and he's going to be done by the time he's 30. He's going to be done by the time he's like 30, 33. I'd rather just go with someone younger, pay a little bit more money now. You can always restructure things. You can always change things, whatever case may be. But that's what I would do to solve the guard problem. But that's what I would do if you didn't want to go with Brandon Sheriff. And I actually don't hate that option because Andres Pete is way more durable. And I think that there's tons of other options I would go with as a stopgap for 1 year than Brandon Sheriff. And they could probably be cheaper than Brandon Sheriff too. Not to mention we have 2 backup guards on our roster right now. Wes Martin and Ross Pierce Brocker. And both of them could probably play the position just as good, if not better, than Brandon Sheriff if Brandon Sheriff keeps getting injured. So it may just be a wash in that regard. Safety and free safety. So I look at free safety. There's not a lot of options with free safety. However, if we want to go the route and get a strong safety and just play and just move someone else around, we have 2 options with free safety. Sean Davis, who's not bad. He played for Pittsburgh last year. He's not a horrible option. Okay. A lot of the safeties are kind of older free safeties. So this is why I want to go this route. Sean Davis isn't bad. I wouldn't mind going that route. Then you have younger guys. But most of our backups, the guys we have are replacement or backup quality. They're not starters. So Sean Davis wouldn't be bad. Or we can go with the strong safety route and just convert one to play the other. And we have a lot more option. Carl Joseph is a stud that I would like to get out of Oakland. Carl Joseph, he played for my alma mater in WVU, so I wouldn't mind him. Von Bell from New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans got a lot of money they got to spend to keep their players. So we could easily sign one of those 2, invest about 10 or 12 million into the guy, long-term deal. It doesn't say his market value. I wish it would say it for all the players. Yeah, so okay, yeah, he's coming up on. He's 26. And he could be having a good year this year, and we could get him. We can get him for about close to like $8 million a year, maybe a little bit more. I'd overpay a little bit for him. Free agency, you always overpay for players. I'd overpay for Carl Joseph. Carl Joseph is a very solid player. So Carl Joseph's one I would do. Von Bell was another one I wouldn't mind signing. Now these are just the 2 youngest ones that are the highest rated ones. So I go with like an average there of high rated plus age. And like I said, yeah, Von Bell, he's a free agent this year. And I think we can get him for a really good contract. We can put him on a lot of money. The problem with the Saints have right now is all 3 of their quarterbacks are free agents. So they got to spend some of that money, re-signing one of them for a longer contract. They don't have a lot of other money to spend elsewhere. So they can't like re-sign a lot of their players. That's why I keep going to the Saints. They have a lot of good defensive players, but they can't re-sign them because they're going to have to either sign their quarterback long term and maybe their backup quarterback. So if they get Bridgewater and they want to keep Tyson Hill, they're done. And Breeze retires, that's all their salary cap. That's all, unless they make some moves and move some guys. But anything else I want to think of on this? So let me look at just all the players, best available, all positions. There are some quarterbacks, but we can draft a quarterback. We can get one in free agency. So like I said, Drew Brees, he's a free agent. If you look at all the quarterbacks, AJ Green's a free agent, but he's like I said, he's up there in age. Dante Fowler, that's a linebacker. That would not be a bad option. We are going to a 4-3. It would not be a horrible option to get to help with a defensive line. Andrew Whitworth, no, too old. 38 years old. You got to be kidding me. I wouldn't sign that at all. Left defensive tackle, Mike Brockers. That wouldn't be too bad. No one on here is young. Devin Funchess, receiver. That wouldn't be horrible. But I like going to the draft. What we've done in the draft last few years with receivers, I like. Not much else I would go after here. So that's what I would go after. So recap. Tight ends. We need to get tight ends. I do think we should still draft one, but if we want to go free agency and pick up one, that route, I think that'd be a smart idea because we have the money to spend a good $10 million at every position we need to fill, and then still have money left over to spend. So we have to fill 4 positions really right now. Like I said, tight end, which I gave 2 options. I gave the first option was Hunter Henry. The second option is on Austin Hooper. I think Austin Hooper would be the better bet. He's more durable. He's better in the red zone. But Hunter Henry would also come with a pretty cheap price tag as well. That's why I say both of them are good options. Plus, they're both 25 years old. We can sign them to a 5-year deal, and by the time they're 30, they be coming off that deal. We can keep them on a team-friendly deal for cheap, or we move on to a younger option at that point. That's my thought process on that. So both of them are good options. Okay? And you can probably get one of them for $9 million. I started off this thing with, I believe, $64 million. If you spend at least an average of $10 million per position, okay? Well, hell, even $12 million per position. That's $48 million you would spend to fill 4 positions on your team. The cornerback spot, the free safety spot, the tight end spot, and the left tackle spot, if we want that right. I don't think we're going to draft. Well, I think we're going to draft left tackle, so I don't know if we have to do that or not. But doing that, we would have a lot. We still have like almost $20 million left over to fill other positions and get depth everywhere else. So I don't know why that wouldn't be like our best bet. Let me look at left tackle again just to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Yeah, all the left tackles are super old. DJ Humphries, that actually wouldn't be too bad from Arizona if we wanted to go that route. And we just that for all the people who are like dick hard to get Chase Young, that wouldn't be the bad option because he's a young offensive lineman from Arizona. We could sign him. He could sign for not a long-term extension, but an extension, a pretty decent-sized contract. I'll give him about 4 years. He's not going to be expensive. He's not a high-graded player, but he's good enough, I think, to get the job done. And then we wouldn't have to draft a lineman this year. We wouldn't have to draft a left tackle this year. We can do that next year. If we went the route of right tackle, let's see, and we just converted him. I mean, you have Conklin from Jack Conklin from Tennessee wouldn't be a bad option. Afida from Seattle wouldn't be a bad option. Like I said, trying to stay young. All these guys that are 30 and 29, I don't really want to do that. Those are guys that you pick up whenever one of these guys gets hurt a week before the season starts. That's my opinion on that. And there's other guys here that are really young, but those are really down the list. Elijah Wilkinson. I mean, if you want to do that for depth, that's fine, but he'd be super cheap. And reiterate one more time, free safety corner. So I'll go corner first, reiterating. I think Ronald Darby wouldn't be horrible. He just might be a higher price tag. Eli Apple would definitely be a higher price tag. And Daryl Worley would be a good option I'd do as well. Artie Burns if you want to go a little bit cheaper and you spend a little less money at that position. Or if you want to get 2. This might be the one position you get 2 guys at because you can never have too many good corners. And then if you want to go down the list, there's some other guys. I'm not going to. Those are the 4 I would recommend that we take a look at. Set our sights high. If we can't get them, we can always go for the lower guys later. And in safety, we have a few free safety options. Like I said earlier, I would go with Trey Boston. Wouldn't be bad, but he's 28. He's a little bit too old for my liking when it comes to that. Sean Davis is the one I would gear towards. That would be the one I would aim for. Justin Simmons is another guy I wouldn't mind aiming for. He actually has a market value evaluation, so he's like 14 million. Dang, he must be good. Dang, Justin Simmons wouldn't be a bad option. But he's for $50 million almost. So they're probably gonna if that's the amount of money he wants, they're probably gonna franchise tag him. And then strong safety, like I said, I think you just draft Carl Joseph, call it a day. Or not draft, sign Carl Joseph or Von Bell would be your two best options. Jordan Richards from Baltimore wouldn't be a horrible option either. And if you go further down the list, there's other guys. J.T. Gray wouldn't be horrible from New Orleans either. But, yeah, that's pretty much this part of the video. And now we're going to jump right over to the draft so I can go over all the things we need in the draft. So thanks for watching. Here you go.
All right, so here we go with the fantasy draft, the NFL draft for 2020 for the Washington Redskins. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go over some things real quick. This draft engine does not let me trade players in this draft. It only lets you trade picks, and only lets you trade first round picks in future drafts, and only the picks in this draft. So I can't trade like a second round pick next year or something like that. So the ultimate scenario for the Redskins, if the Detroit Lions want to just trade up one more pick and make sure that they get their quarterback or something, and they give us, like 3 or 4 good picks, and we can, build that draft and still get Chase Young. That's the best case scenario. The second best case scenario is Miami is apparently might offer us 4 picks to make sure they get Tua. I would take that because apparently 2 of those picks are going to be first rounders and 2 are going to be second rounders of this year's draft. So it won't be bad. Now, I'm going to do this with the assumption that the Washington Redskins filled other positions in free agency. Okay? I did a draft before. That was assuming we didn't do anything in free agency. We needed to fill positions now. If we need to fill positions now, yeah, you can't get Chase Young because you need other positions filled. So he has more value. That pick has more value than one player. But if you fill the other positions in free agency and you get good quality guys and you still have money left over, then you can afford the luxury of drafting someone like a Chris or a Chase Young. Okay, so let's do this. So here's how the base of the draft goes. I'm going to skip the first pick. Okay, and I'm going to continue. So they got Burrow, and we're going to look at what's available to us. We have Miami. We're going to take that one because Miami. We're going to use their picks. Okay, so they draft a quarterback. So we're going to propose a trade back to Miami, or the Detroit Lions. We're gonna give them Miami's 18th pick, their 24th pick. Wait, do I want to give 24th pick? No, I'll give them next year's first. So I'll give them the 5th pick and next year's first. They accepted my trade. And it's my turn, and now I can draft Chase Young. So this is like I'm the GM right now, and this is my thought process. I'm the GM. I'm trying to appease everybody, make everyone happy. This is fan servicing. They want Chase Young, give them what they want, but now we're going to go after and fill roster spots. I may be looking to trade down. I may be looking to just draft best available. We will see. Okay, I'm not going to keep looking at everyone's pick here in a second. I'm going to see one more. That was the other player I wanted was Jeffrey Okudah. But let's skip to my pick, see what happens. Okay, so we need to potentially trade back. Okay, we trade back. Well, okay. So look at what we got. We have offensive tackle, Austin. We have Jared Wills. We have Micaiah Becton. It's not a bad option. Heard some good things about Becton. But let's see what's available at the other position. Tight end was another position we need. Oh, we have a couple players. The one I want is there. Cole Kmet is actually not a bad option either. So there's definitely options at both positions, but I can trade back 2 positions and get 2 picks. I think I'm going to do that. Definitely going to do that. Skip to my next pick. They didn't take anyone I wanted. That's good. So now with the 20th pick in the first round, I can potentially still trade back. No? Okay. And I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go with Jadick Wills. That's a safe bet. Becton doesn't sound like a bad option, but you can go either way on this. I'm going to go with Jadick Wills. Seems like the best option right here. Okay. So now it's my pick again. Now 24th pick in the second round, so a lot of options have gone off the table. So now we need to just pick a tight end and stick with it. Cole Kmet. It just really depends. I don't think I want to get him this early. Okay. So I think I might trade this pick down or get a cornerback. I think it's a little bit of a reach right now, but Shaheem Carter is my target. Not sure what I want to do here. But Shaheem Carter from Alabama is not a bad option. But I think what I'm going to do instead is look at free safety. Okay, no options there. I think I'll look at trades right now. I can move down 2 spots and get 2 more picks. Yeah, let's go for that. All right, so we're at my pick, and we need to draft a tight end. Oh, cornerback, I'm sorry. Shaheem Carter, let's get it. It's way early. We could probably get him in the 3rd or 4th round, but if you know you want a guy, you might as well just get him while you can. And I think the guy I still want at tight end will still be available. So it's not too much of a reach for that player in the 2nd round, or it might have been a reach for the tight end at that point. So not bad. I got Chase Young, Jadick Wills, Shaheem Carter, Albert. I can't even pronounce that name. Okowabunam. I might just call him Oku. I'm just call him Albert. We'll stick with Albert. Okay. Albert Okowabunam. So it doesn't sound like a horrible option. He's got a lot of praise. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Missouri tight end. Alright, so we have our pick from Jacksonville. Let's go to our next pick. Jacksonville, looking for free safety or corner. Probably going to be free safety, though. Okay, I think Jordan Fuller would be a good bet. Might be a little bit of a reach for Jordan Fuller. This guy would be a risk, Kyle Duggar. I think I'm going to go with Jordan Fuller, though. He goes to a big school. I think that's the safe bet there. Or we can go a different route potentially. Let's see what's best available. We can go defensive end or linebacker. We can go free safety. This is alphabetized. These aren't lists from best to worst. They're alphabetized. So there's a lot of, guys that are available that I could definitely use. The question is, which one do I want to do? That's the question. This is a hard option. Oh my gosh. Dontavius Jackson at outside linebacker. I think I'm going to take him. Yep. Good pick. A-. We might be able to wait till the 4th round to get him, but I don't think it was too much of a reach. See if there's another tight end available. There is another one I wouldn't mind picking up. Okay, offensive guard. Just take a look at it. You just got a deal on a guard. All right. Day 2 guard fell to the 4th round. That's a steal right there. It's an A+ right there. Nice. So, where are we at right now? We're in the 4th round, 10th pick from Jacksonville. Look at free safeties. Jordan Fuller's still there. Let's just take Jordan Fuller and call it a day. Him or J.R. Reed? Yeah, I'll go Jordan Fuller. Okay, not bad. Maybe J.R. Reed would have been better, but it's okay. It's a 4th round pick. If we're going to have a B plus in the fourth, I'd rather have a B plus in the fourth round than the first. Okay, so now we're looking at receivers. So Tariq Black is the one I'm actually targeting. 6'3", big receiver. Definitely someone we could definitely use on our team. All our receivers are small and kind of fast. We need someone who has some build to them. I think the defensive tackle from Tennessee is my best bet. Let's see if there's anyone else on here. Zach Moss. It wouldn't be a horrible option either. Yeah, let's see who's a big receiver. Is this guy big? Nope, 6'1". Not very big. I need someone with some height to him. If I'm one of these guys that are like day 2 guys I can find with some height, I may consider them. I think this guy's, yeah, he's 5'11". I don't want him. So, so Tariq Black, I'm pretty sure he's 6'3". He's 6'3". Yeah, 6'3". So that's the route I'd like to go with that. But I know I can get him probably later in this round. So right now I'm going to get a defensive tackle. We are going to a 4-3. So getting a defensive tackle makes a lot of sense. He also played in the SEC, probably the second toughest football league in America. So I think we're going to go with Audrey Sullivan. Okay. So here we are, back to it. Tariq Black, still there. I'm going to take him. Done. A+, call it that a day. And let's keep going here. We're already into later rounds, and I know I saw, let's see if there's any cornerbacks. Let's see if that running back's still available. I saw a running back that was available. Well, I'll take the offensive tackle. This is good. But I think the running back, Zach Moss, would be bad. I usually don't want to get a running back that high up. Yeah, I'll take him. But, I mean, even 5th round's a good, if you can get a decent running back at that round, I mean, you're pretty much set. So, Redskins are looking for, I don't know, maybe I need a running back. That's what I'm looking for. So right now, I'm getting all the players I want. As a GM, the goal here again was fan service. Zach Moss, that might have to be my pick. That's my pick. Zach Moss, a day 2 running back, falls to the 5th round. And yeah, now we're in the 7th round, so now we just got to get some value. Maybe draft a cornerback. None of these guys, I know their names. I don't know any of them. This one is a shot in the dark. I've heard of most of the players I've drafted, I've at least heard of in some capacity or read up on. I read up on at least our first 5 picks. So, and then I'm just getting like best available at that point. And then we just need to draft. Somebody. And the free safety I was looking for was not available. West Virginia has a free safety that is believed to fall to the 7th round that I think would have good depth, but he's not available. So we got to go another route. Honestly, he might be he's probably in a different location. But I'll take an offensive lineman regardless. So, that being said, this is probably the best draft I've ever had. The best scoring draft I've ever had for sure. A-. You can't beat that. We end up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 picks in this draft. We drafted every position that we needed. We made sure we took care of all the stuff we needed. We got fan service. We got Chase Young. Everyone wanted Chase Young. We got him. Okay? We took care of our needs. We got an offensive tackle that can eventually replace Trent Williams now, or if we don't trade Trent Williams, we can replace him next year. Okay? Shaheem Carter, he can play free safety or cornerback. I would put him at cornerback right now because we have a couple free safeties that we're still figuring out. Tight end, Albert Oku. I'm just calling him Oku because I can't pronounce that name. Pair him with either Austin Hooper or Hunter Henry. And then we have a blocking tight end sprinkle, and we have a good three tight end combo right there that we can work going forward, especially because they're all under contract or young. Dontavius Jackson will be a good linebacker in general, but outside linebacker specifically. That's what he played in college. Ben Bredesen, offensive guard from Michigan, would be a very good addition to our already young O-line and just add depth. Justin Fuller would add to the safety depth that we need. Audrey Solomon, defensive tackle from Tennessee. We are going 4-3. We need defensive tackle, especially ones from the SEC that have played in that kind of league and they know what it's going to take to win, like hard work and things like that. Tariq Black is a beast. I would love to see him in a Washington Redskins uniform. He's 6'3". We need a big receiver. Him and Harmon could be our like 1-2 big guy punch, and then we have McLaurin and Sims as our speedy guys, and we can just rock it out with 4 young good receivers. I think they would solidify to have like a 4 good receiver look. Calvin Throckmorton. How can I pronounce his name but not the other guy? Offensive tackle, second round grade, got him in the 4th round, or second day grade, got him in the 4th round. Zach Moss, running back from Utah. I've definitely heard that name a lot. Good runner. He's a 3rd round grade, I believe. We got him in the 5th. And then we have 2 guys late that I don't even know if they're going to make the roster. Jake Bentley and Logan Steenberg. And Jake Bentley is not going to do much. It's problem he just picked them because we need a quarterback on the roster. And then offensive guard, Kentucky. So, this is our draft. That's the best grade I've ever gotten doing this. So, let me know what you think. This is the end of the video. So, if you have any questions about free agency, I've done everything. I've hit cap space, how we can make more cap space and get rid of players. Free agency, who we can sign, who we should be looking for, and then draft. So, it all comes together. If we did all 3 of these things the way I suggested, spending about $40 million, $10 million per position, maybe a little bit more per position in cap space on all of them, and then we draft it this way, Redskins are set. We're set for the next few years, and we're going to be very competitive with a good defensive-minded coach and just a very aggressive, not just aggressive on the field, but aggressive like front office mentality that we're having right now when it comes to getting players, drafting players, and making sure that this is a draft that we want. And I think this one will be the best draft possible. So, thanks for watching my video. Like, share, and subscribe, and hail to the Redskins. See you.